Right, so at the moment I'm setting up the angles for the powertrain to go in to the county and be kind of like on the right angle, so that the pinion shaft just there in the diff, that one there, and obviously the rear one all the way down there in the back. Can't see it because it's, oh no, maybe. I'll show you that in a minute. There it is there. Have to be within, they reckon, about 3 degrees. So hopefully, it's within that, but I'll show you how I'm doing it. Okay, so just whack this on here. That's the front, obviously. Once that settles down, you can see, get the angle right, she's sitting at roughly about 85 degrees. Okay, so that's obviously tilted up. You go to 90 degrees, boom. Okay, so tilt it up. So now we go down and under. Right, so here's the rear pinion. All right, so the rear diff just sitting there at the moment. What I've done is I've got it sitting, it's off the ground, but I've got it sitting with as much weight on it as I possibly can to intimate a full load in the back. There's my cranked radius arms as well, which lets the these seals sit perfectly flat. Come up this side, you can see it a little bit better as well. So yeah, they're just sitting perfectly flat. Normally, if you don't have that little bend in there, it goes straight, and then obviously for the 2-inch lift gets pulled down, which basically will pull this down that way, and you end up getting a lot more pressure on the bottom here, and it separates at the top. So basically, it's levering it like that, and that's the position it's in at resting before it even starts moving. So to have it in the normal, not any low pressure or high pressure on it when it's in its resting position, much better. Anyway, back to what we were doing, and we just put our gauge on here, make sure it's pretty vertical like that. Okay, and you can see she's sitting at about, what do you reckon, 87 degrees. Yeah, not too bad. So 87 degrees, and then come forwards. So what we've got here, this is the rear, here's the auto pan. Okay, here's the Marks adapters passenger side adapter, and straight onto the existing mount. Okay, but I had to drop it down 40 mil. Okay, because where this sits, this can't get the tail shaft in. So had to drop the whole lot 40 mil, and also very hard, because this normally sits a lot further forwards as well. So because this has been pushed back, you have to drop it down, because otherwise the tail shaft would normally come up, clear that, and be able to go up a lot higher up here, up here. So I've pulled that forwards just enough so that I can pull this off and get the actual drum off for the handbrake. Otherwise there's no getting it off without dropping the whole shebang down to get that off, which is just a pain in the ass, so I'm not going to do that. Here's the right hand side Marks adapter here, and what I've done is I've got a Discovery, I think that's out of a Discovery 2 bracket, okay, for this same side. I've had to actually weld in, I don't know if you can see it, I'll get the light on there. I welded in a section there just to extend the bolt across, all right, and also then dropped the bolts down 40 mil as well to match the other side. Now that does come with its disadvantages, I guess, slightly, Now this sits just a little bit below the chassis line, okay, which you can see, but in all honesty, it's not lower than this bit. So if I was to run a skid plate, it's going to be, this is actually the lowest point anyway. So it's not going to really bother me. I'll just run a skid plate from here back underneath this, and just a little bit of spacing here, and she'll be right. I think the belly tanks anyway, these side belly tanks that go in here, actually sit lower. They sit the same height as these anyway, so it's all gravy. Anyway, and just to double check a couple more things. So whack on my gauge here. Okay, get that on there nice and level. Get some more light on the situation, and we'll have a look at that. Look at that, 86 degrees. Exactly the same. Got to be happy with that. So, in other words, this section, this bit here, the output of that is the same as the angle of that. So that means the drive shafts are going to be perfectly aligned when they're in the resting position, and happy days. Now the front drive shaft's a little bit different. So we're dealing with coming off here and going obviously to there. Now what a lot of people do is they use a double cardan tail shaft. I'll have to obviously get mine made up custom, which I'll be doing anyway as well with a double cardan, and that helps with those extra angles. But yeah, we're getting there. And if you want to have a quick look at the pan, let's see how close that is to zero. I reckon it's going to be pretty close once it stops mucking around. Oh, that is bloody gravy. Lovely. Lovely jubbly. And the other thing to check, sideways, on the flat section, let's just see. Get some light on that. Pretty dark under here. Pretty close there as well. So I'm pretty happy with that.